You're listening to the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network, home of the #1 sports talk show on the planet, The Doug Stewart Show.
This is a revolution in radio, the realest, trillest sports talk show in America, The Doug Stewart Show.
Broadcasting live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Time, exclusively on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network.
This is sports talk for the people.
Follow Stewart Media and Entertainment right now on Facebook to stay connected and locked in for upcoming events like the Couples and Cocktail Series, viewing parties, and much, much more. Up next, get ready to ride raw with the Doug Stewart Show.
This is sports talk with hot sauce, Texas Pete hot sauce, the Doug Stewart Show.
Exclusively on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network.
Yes! Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com, America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STEW to play for free. That's STEW for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STEW, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STEW.
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets, with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
Doctor, this is the mayor talking.
All right.
Doctor,
Come on, what?
always do the right thing.
If you came here to hear for fake, you are in the wrong place. We are for real around here. We keeps it real. This is the Doug Stewart Show, the livest, the realest, the trillest sports talk show in America. Are you not entertained? This is Sports Talk with Hot Sauce, Texas Pete Hot Sauce, the Doug Stewart Show. Yes! Game time. What's happening? Good morning to you. Good morning. Welcome to the Doug Stewart Show, man. Wild Out Wednesday. And oh boy, we got a great show planned for you today. So sit back, relax, and take in all of this hot sports talk, all of this hot guy talk. That's what we do on the Doug Stewart Show. All right? Got a bunch of great guests lined up for you. Actually got one great guest lined up for you. But first, let's bring it back one more time. But we're going to do a lot of big talking today. Shouts out to everybody already in the chat room. Yes, sir. We're going to go up on Periscope here in a second. Thank you for joining your boy on the Doug Stewart Show. This is a Wild Out Wednesday, July 15th, 2015. And, man, the year is just flying by. We're definitely in the middle of July right now, coming to the end of July. Football season, training camps are going to start at the end of this month, which is, I mean, all I can think is just praise God. Football is right around the corner. But a couple of little interesting things going on in the world of sports. Thank you so much for joining me on the Doug Stewart Show. Shouts out to everybody already in the chat room. Speaking of which, man, I mentioned yesterday that one of the Stewie's son, John Fisher, John Fisher, his son was involved in an accident. And I'm happy to report, and I'm sure he's telling everybody in there, and they're probably talking about it in the chat room, that his son is going to be okay. Praise God. Praise God. Yes, sir. Who say prayer don't work? So that was some great news I saw this morning, man. His son was in an accident. He actually got hit by a car. I think he had a couple broken limbs, but he's going to be okay. And once again, thank you so much for praying for him yesterday, man. He's going to be okay. It looks like he's going to be just fine. So that's good news right there. Thank you, Stewie family. All right, so on today's show, man, we're going to talk some MLB All-Star Game. We'll talk a little bit about that. I don't talk a ton of baseball, but, it's probably the biggest and the only thing really to talk about. Other than Summer League basketball, we'll hit some of that as well. SEC Media Days. I hadn't touched upon that, but today is the third day of SEC Media Days. Once again, another clear indication that football season is right around the corner. And so a couple of things went down at SEC Media Days. I kind of want to highlight the upcoming season in college football as it concerns the SEC. Talk about the preseason rankings, the team that everybody in America is talking about, everybody in SEC country is talking about in particular, which is going to shock you a little bit. John Wall, Washington Wizards guard, is in the news. We'll talk a little bit about him. He said some people would consider it shade throwing, but we'll talk about John Wall, what he had to say. Marcus Mariota is in the news with the Tennessee Titans. Tiger Woods, as the British Open gets started on tomorrow. Tiger trying to get back in the mix of being a winning golfer. So we'll talk about that as well. And also, man, last week I did one of the first interviews of a series of interviews I'm going to try to do, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Well, I just interview somebody. It might be sports, it might be beyond, but just somebody I think is very interesting. So today, I got an interview lined up, and we're going to talk to Raymond Poole. And you might say to yourself, who the hell is Raymond Poole? Well, Raymond Poole goes by the name of Moby Dick. And I'm not going to say that name a lot, but that's his nickname. And he was actually the head man with No Limit Records production team, Beats by the Pound. That's right. So this guy is the owner and started Beats by the Pound. In music, you have all these different crews of producers. The Hitmen are one of the most popular and one of the most well-known. But during No Limit Records' heyday, okay, the first couple of years of No Limit Records when they blew up, Master P, Make 'em Say, all of that stuff, this guy, Raymond Poole, was the head producer there. So I wanted to kind of, go back down memory lane and talk about No Limit Records with him, his relationship with Master P, what he's doing right now in the industry. Just a little bit of background on the guy. He's got a very interesting story. You can only imagine. And this is always one of the things that I'm always interested in talking to somebody about is, like, what's something that was big that happened to you when you were doing what you were known for? Like, what did you see? Like, talk about some of the road trips and things that you saw and said road trips and that type of situation. And you can only imagine. Master P, you can say all you want. Master P and No Limit Records had it going on. For probably 4 or 5 years. And this guy was actually the guy making all of the beats. Once again, Beats by the Pound, No Limit Records. So we'll talk to him in the second hour of the show. Stay tuned for that. We'll also take your phone calls. We'll do a little bit of birthdays. And we'll just have some fun around here on the Doug Stewart Show. You can give me a call at 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. But the easy way to be totally interactive on the show is to hit me up in the chat room on Spreaker.com. Go to Spreaker and follow the show, okay? Follow the show on Spreaker. And then there's a little chat bubble. You click on that, and then you're introduced to a whole new world. I call it the Chat Fantasy Island. Yes, sir. And I call the inhabitants the Stewies. Yeah, so we call them the Stewies. So I read a lot of your chat throughout the show. That was what makes the show totally interactive once again. Once in a while, I'll even sing a song. I mean, would y'all like me to sing a song today? I might even do that. I mean, the studio audience they want me to sing a song, so maybe I'll sing a song for you a little bit later, man. I didn't sing one yesterday. And if you're new to the show, once in a while, I bless the listeners and the Stewies with song. That's what I do. I mean, I do sports and guy talk. I do all types of things. Fish swim, birds fly, snakes crawl, and I sing as well. So once in a while on the show, if you're new to the show, and I'm talking to people that are new to the show, once in a while I sing a song for the listeners. I mean, this is just total entertainment. This is 100% 360-degree entertainment right here on the Doug Stewart Show. Oh, boy. I had me a good time. I mean, yesterday we talked about the top 5 Playboy centerfolds of all times. Yesterday being National Nude Day. So, I mean, we have a good time around. And here's a little side topic, man. And this is just a side general question for the listeners on the Doug Stewart Show. If you had your opportunity, who would you start your baseball team with? Last night, the All-Star game, the ALS won a game last night 6-3. Mike Trout was named your MVP for the second year in a row. Congratulations to him. Mike Trout became the first player in 38 years to homer leading off an All-Star game, then became the first player to take home the All-Star game MVP award 2 years in a row. So Mike Trout is one of them guys, man, that one of those, what do they call them, 5-tool guys? And let me see if I can remember what the 5-tools are. I mean, obviously, hit for average, power, which means he has home runs, steal bases, throwing, and fielding. Those are the 5 tools, okay? And so Mike Trout is one of those rare 5-tool guys that he can do anything. Phenomenal athlete. You saw last night in the game, and I did watch the game last night. You saw last night in the game where he got a hit, and he ran out to throw to first base. So just a phenomenal athlete. Makes acrobatic catches all the time. You see it on SportsCenter. So Mike Trout is that dude. And if you're a baseball guy in particular and you're a fan of the sport, would you say Mike Trout is the best hitter in baseball? I think some people might say that they'd take Clayton Kershaw as far as a pitcher if you could start your team. Maybe Felix Hernandez, King Felix. But as far as hitters, I think Mike Trout might be the guy. Giancarlo Stanton from the Florida Marlins might be a guy in that conversation as well. Andrew McCutchen as well, maybe a guy that you talk about. So who do you think is the best hitter in baseball? That's just a little side topic, and I'll get your thoughts on that in the chat today on the Doug Stewart Show. All right, the number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. And it is a Wild Out Wednesday. Yes, sir. I got a song on my heart, man. I might bless y'all with it today, man. Yeah. So we're going to talk to Raymond Poole, lead producer for Beats by the Pound, No Limit Records Dynasty. We'll talk to him a little bit later. Hey, man, thank you. Thank you so much for tuning into the Doug Stewart Show. When we get back from the break, man, let's talk a little SEC Media Days. Get you in that football mood, that football frame of mind. College football is right around the corner. Yes, sir. So we'll talk a little bit about the SEC Media Days, take phone calls, read your chat if we got any already, and do what we do. This is Sports Talk, Guy Talk with Hot Sauce. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com, America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU.
The Doug Stewart Show.
The place where the real players play.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service.
The Doug Stewart Show.
That's a brand name. Like Pepsi, that's a brand name. I stand behind it. I guarantee it.
The Doug Stewart Show.
If you ain't stewing, what the hell are you doing? Yeah! What is 911 Tax Relief? It's a tax relief company that can help you reduce or remove your IRS or state tax debt. They'll help stop bank levies and wage garnishments by implementing offers and compromise or penalty abatements. 911 Tax Relief is a tax relief company, but they're different from the others. Their experts are licensed, enrolled tax agents, and they also have more than 12 years' experience helping people solve their tax problems. They're a tax relief company that understands how the IRS works, and they'll also put that knowledge to work for you, so they can get you the best possible settlement or solution to your tax problems. Highly rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they've helped thousands of people solve their tax problems. So, don't play around. Click on their link on my website and let 911 Tax Relief help you in your situation with Uncle Sam. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. And it is a Wild Out Wednesday. Shouts out to everybody already in the chat room. The Stewies, I call them. I'm already seeing a little bit of conversation about the topic to stew on. The Dougie Daily question, I used to call it back in the day. If you had your opportunity at any of these hitters in baseball, you know, who would you choose? Which one of these sluggers / one of these guys that have 5.2s? I talked about Mike Trout in the first segment being a 5.2 guy. Another guy is Andrew McCutchen, and once again, a player that can hit for average, power, steal bases. They can throw, they can field, they can do it all. And Andrew McCutchen, in a day and time when you don't see a lot of brothers, to be honest with you, that are prevalent in baseball, man, has been a beast. I think he won the MVP award last year in the National League for the Pittsburgh Pirates. So that's what we're having a little side topic today about as well. The number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. But once again, the easy way to be totally interactive with the show is to jump in the chat room on Spreaker.com and post your thoughts, and then I read those all throughout the show. All right. SEC Media Days. Today is the third day of SEC Media Days. Yesterday, Steve Spurrier did an interview with the Puppet Factory. And Steve Spurrier, as he normally is a jokester, quick-witted, kind of threw some shade yesterday. He says after the Gamecocks finished 7-6 this past year, which was the same as Tennessee and Arkansas, Steve Spurrier said, we got rejuvenated, we got new life. We were 7-6, same as Tennessee and the same as Arkansas, and I think they're sort of celebrating big seasons last year. Kind of throwing shade about Tennessee and Arkansas and the fact that, you know, they're not one of the better teams in the conference, and they're excited about, you know, just winning 7 games. The Carolina Gamecocks over the last couple of years, before last year, they had won 11 games 3 years in a row. And that's unprecedented for the Carolina Gamecocks. You know, I'm from the state of South Carolina, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. And so I've been watching Carolina football my entire life, even through the real tough years, which there have been many, really, to be honest with you. Outside of these years with Steve Spurrier, the Gamecocks have pretty much been an average team for like 100 years. I mean, during the Morrison era, Joe Morrison, I believe his first name was Joe. During the Morrison years, they were pretty solid. They probably won 8-9 games, you know, for those years. That's when they had Sterling Sharp and Todd Ellis and those guys like that. But this has been the coup de grace as far as great seasons for the Carolina Gamecocks. Let's see if they can get it back on track this year. That's one thing that was talked about. Let me tell you about the SEC predicted order of finish, the preseason rankings. For the SEC West, they've got Auburn winning the division. They've got Alabama coming in second, Arkansas number 3, Ole Miss number 4, and Texas A&M number 5. And in the SEC East, the preseason rankings have Florida at number 5, South Carolina at number 4, Missouri at number 3, Georgia at number 2, and number 1, picked to finish the SEC East on top, man, is the Tennessee Volunteers. Wow. When's the last time you were able to say that? That Tennessee has looked to win the SEC West. And they've got a lot of things to be happy about and to be, excited about when you talk about Tennessee football. Butch Jones back, I believe this is his second year, maybe his third year as the head coach, and he's got them going in the right direction. Everybody in America is talking about the quarterback, Joshua Dobbs, who people are kind of looking to break out. Started out kind of slow. He's actually from here in Georgia. I believe he's from Alpharetta, Georgia, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. But one of those prototypical new age quarterbacks that has a big arm, tall, lean, can throw the football as well, can also tuck it and run. One of those athletic type quarterbacks, as well as the running back Jalen Hurd, the running back for Tennessee as well. He's a guy from the state of Tennessee, but a big back. Huge, pounding back who's had great success in his first couple of years at Tennessee. So, when's the last time that we talked about Tennessee football being the top of anything? Okay, and usually in the SEC and in college football over the last couple of years, if you won the SEC, chances are that you probably were going to win the national championship. Outside of last year, the SEC won 7 straight national championships. So that's a big step forward for the Tennessee Volunteer program. Now, I remember when Philip Fulmer was there for many, many years, and obviously you talk about Peyton Manning and some just tremendous players that the Tennessee program had for many, many years. Peerless, Price, and those guys, a ton of great running backs. They were always prevalent. Tennessee is one of those programs that used to be able to recruit nationally. They used to get players from all over the country. I guess the state of Tennessee doesn't have that many great players, so they used to recruit from Texas, and obviously everybody gets players from Florida, but they used to have guys from Ohio and California, and it's starting to get back like that a little bit. And once again, after the tragedy and the atrocity of Lane Kiffin there for a couple of years, that really hurt the program. But they haven't really been right in the Tennessee program of old for many, many years. So we'll see if Tennessee gets back on track this year with that football program. What are your thoughts about Tennessee winning the SEC West? Do you believe that's actually going to be the case? Or do you think that that once again Tennessee will be in the doldrums of the SEC East this year as well? 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Want to get your thoughts on that. Want to get your thoughts on Steve Spurrier with the Carolina Gamecocks. When you think about the coaches in the SEC, I would think if you rated them, if you ranked them, Steve Spurrier probably would be ranked, definitely behind Nick Saban. I forgot about Nick Saban for a second there. But he'd probably be the second best rated coach in the SEC. Obviously a tremendous career at Florida, all the great things that he did down there, winning national championships, and has taken this South Carolina Gamecock program to a new level. And the big thing about it, the problem with South Carolina football, and I can attest to this, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, is South Carolina traditionally hasn't been able to keep the best talent in the state. And Steve Spurrier has, in effect, put a fence around the state of South Carolina and have got the Jadeveon Clowneys of the world and the best players in the state and gotten them to stay home. So we'll see if that continues this year. There's always, to me, an excitement about the start of the college football season because at any time you'll see a guy or a person or a player that's about to be, a well-known name in sports for a long, long time. I remember the very first time that I saw Barry Sanders. I said, this guy is special. The very first time you see certain players, the very first time you saw Cam Newton, you knew that this guy was special from day one. And so such is the same with college football. People always ask me, we always have this conversation on the show, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, what's your favorite sport? Like if you could only watch one, would it be college football or would it be the NFL? I actually like college football more than I like the NFL. It seems to me that there's more passion about college football, especially from crazy rabid fans from here in the South and in SEC country. That's really all we got. In some other places of the world, in the Northeast, in the New York City area, in other parts of the country, the West Coast, and they have great football in the West Coast with the University of Southern California, Trojans, and there's some great programs all over the country, but there's a passion down here, and college football is just unrivaled. And I've been a college football fan, man, for my entire life. Love the start of college football season because, once again, you get to see after week one, usually there's somebody that breaks out. There's somebody that they've been talking about for a couple of years as one of those 5-star recruits that was redshirted maybe, and he gets on the field and he wows America, and I absolutely love that. So if I had my option, if I had my choice, I would choose to watch a big-time college football game. I'd rather watch Auburn and Alabama than I would Dallas and Pittsburgh, and that's just real in the NFL. So what are your thoughts on that as well, man? Looking forward to college football, shawty. Looking forward to it. Georgia. I mean, I poke fun at Georgia. I poke fun at Georgia because, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, because the Georgia fans, they seem to me to be very comparable in my home state of South Carolina to Clemson. Okay, so Clemson won a national championship. Clemson won a national championship, I believe, in 1981. Georgia won their national championship in 1980. But every single year, the start of the college football season, Georgia fans and Clemson fans think this is the year that they're going to relive and recapture that glory. And this is the year we're going to win a national championship. And it hadn't been that way for the last couple of years or for the last 40 years. We're talking 80, 90. I'm doing some quick math. 90, 2000, 2010. You're talking 35 years since Georgia and Clemson won national championships. But you know what? You have hope. That's the great thing about college football. You have hope. At the start of the season, if you were an Auburn Tiger fan when Cam Newton got there, did you even imagine that the Auburn Tigers would win a national championship? So it can happen. It can happen in any sport. But if you get a great recruiting class, man, and you get a couple of great recruiting classes, you literally can win a college football national championship in college football. So what are your thoughts on that? The number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Follow your boy on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Periscope. I'm on Periscope right now, as a matter of fact. Shouts out to everybody following me and checking me out on Periscope right now. I might keep it up for the next segment as well. Stay tuned. When we get back from the break, we'll talk a little bit of NFL, man. Marcus Mariota is in the news. We'll talk about that, and I'll read your chat. We'll also discuss some birthdays as well, all right? So it's Sports Talk, Guy Talk with Hot Sauce, Texas Pete Hot Sauce. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Don't go away. In life, things happen, good and bad, and being prepared is always important. If you're like me, a husband, a father, and protector of that family tree, then your family is the most important thing in the world. 95 million U.S. adults don't have protection in place. So, what I've done is put my protection in the hands of the largest and number one independent financial services company in North America, and that's Primerica. They look out for middle America because they believe that offering the most competitive premiums only benefits the client and have been doing so since 1977. If you're a parent, husband, or wife and want to discuss options with one of Primerica's top reps, then call my guy, Greg Wynn, at 678-439-7172. Again, that's 678-439-7172, and he'll put your family first. And hey, tell him that Doug Stewart sent you. Yes! I don't like Johnny Gill. He took my spot on New Edition. One of my favorite songs of all time from New Edition is Can You Stand the Rain? So to pay ode to that famous song, man, I'm going to give you my little rendition of Can You Stand the Rain?
On a perfect day, I know that I can count on you. Ooh. When that's not possible, tell me, can you weather the storm? Then Ralph jumps in. 'Cause I need somebody who will stand. Shut up! Who will stand by me through the good times and bad times. She will always be right there. Hey, sunny days. Everybody has them. Tell me, baby, can you stand the rain? J-Rob, Tree, if you stop Doug singing, we will renege your BPA nomination. Huh? Buster Doug, I see why you got kicked out of the Wait a minute. Back up, Jack. Shut up. Studio audience, y'all are out of control today. I mean, seriously, we're going to talk about this. We're going to have to take y'all into Larry's office after this show. That ninja, you just cracked my damn phone screen. What? Where's all of this coming from? Who's putting y'all up to say these things? Who's putting y'all... Okay, Tree, jump on for a second. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Did you prompt these people to say these nasty things to me on Spreaker.com?
You know what?
I mean, it's jealousy. Tree, we know that you sing. But you don't have to be the only person that can sing, okay? I can see it. What do the kids call it? Hating? Is that what's going on here, Tree? Are you hating on Doug Stewart? Dirty Della.
Oh, my God.
Dirty Della. Oh. Dirty Della. Oh. First of all, thank you for listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Now, if you've been listening for a while, you know that we've grown exponentially over the first couple of months. Whether that's listens, whether that's followers, we're blowing up, and you can be a part of it. If you have a company out there and you like to promote on the Doug Stewart Show, we'd love to partner with you. Here's what you do. Email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Once again, that's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Whether that's locally, regionally, or nationally, we can get the word out. What you're talking about is middle-aged dudes that love sports and love exciting sports talk. Once again, email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com, and we will put you out there. All right? That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let's do some business. Yes! Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Wild Out Wednesday. Thank you. I numb you. Shouts out to my line brother Sean T. Hill online. This song is kind of a shout out to him. He's from New York City. He's from Brooklyn. There's Brooklyn in the house, my line brother. And he was just checking me out on Periscope, man. Make sure you follow your boy on Periscope. All right, once again, follow me on Periscope, man. Every once in a while, I'll throw up the Periscope during the middle of the show. Before the show, I do a pre-show sometimes on Periscope. Real cool technology, man. I am a huge fan of Periscope. So follow me on Periscope, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of those, social networking platforms. At the Doug Stewart Show. I mean, if you search at the Doug Stewart Show, you should be able to find me on all 4 of those. So that's a good thing. Also, man, do you have your DraftKings account? On DraftKings, man, you can win real cash money for wagering on fantasy sports. And fantasy baseball right now is real hot and heavy. Create you an account. You can play for as little as $1 on up. And if you deposit anything up to $600, me and DraftKings will match that. All you got to do is use the promo code STEW. That's STEW. And once again, we'll match your deposit from $600 on down. So if you put in $600, you'll be wagering and playing fantasy sports. That's baseball, basketball, football, hockey. I think they even got golf fantasy sports on DraftKings. So you'll be wagering for real money. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah, before I jump to these birthdays and start reading some of your chat here, This fiber thing is real. I mean, I was shocked when Larry pulled me in the office, me and Tree in the office, and said that this is what we're going to do. But this fiber thing is real. I've got a couple of new commercials that I'll read today, so stay tuned for that. I really need you to patronize these sponsors and these companies that work with us in advertising, because if you don't patronize them, then it kind of defeats the purpose. So what you do is have a pencil near you, write down their names and phone numbers, and so if you ever need them in the future, then you'll have it available, and you'll be helping out the Doug Stewart Show. So follow me or check out my gigs on Fiverr. That's FIBERR.com. And what it is for $5, starting at $5. Then there's more things that we could do for the money going up. We'll promote your business, product, brand, whatever that may be, and it's on Fiverr.com. That's FIBERR.com. Ara. 2 R's at the end. So today's birthdays. Damian Lillard turns 25 years old today, and they had this thing a couple of weeks ago, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, talking about the best NBA players. I think they were doing it on Mike and Mike under the age of 25. So Damian Lillard today can't be in that conversation anymore. He turns 25 years old today, point guard for the Portland Trail Blazers. You talk about messed up. Half of the damn Portland Trail Blazers team is gone. Yes. I mean, the whole starting five is gone. Wesley Matthews is gone. Obviously, LaMarcus Aldridge is gone. The Lopez kid is gone. The whole team is gone. And that's a bad part about, playing for an organization like Portland. It's hard to turn the corner. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Because of the inconsistency of winning over many, many years, they have kind of like this reputation of a small market team, and people don't want to go there. They'd rather go and play. Well, it used to be more so back in the day. They'd rather go play for New York and for L.A. I feel bad for Damian Lillard, man. I mean, a great player, a fantastic player, man, and they literally going to have to start from ground zero this year with the Portland Trail Blazers. So he turns 25. Happy birthday, no matter what. Forrest Whitaker turns 54 years old today. Happy birthday to the great Forrest Whitaker. Actor, Oscar winner for his portrayal of dictator Idi Amin in 2006's The Last King of Scotland. I have never seen that movie yet. I haven't seen that movie yet. And I don't know why. And maybe I'll rent it on Netflix or something or whatever this weekend, or check it out on Netflix this weekend, because now that I think about it, I have never seen that movie. And it's got to be a great movie because your boy Forrest Whitaker is a great actor. And he won an Oscar for it, so it's got to be a good movie. If you've seen Last King of Scotland, hit me up in the chat room and tell me, is it a good movie, or is it one of those movies that's real artsy and that's real intricate and only, snobbish, bougie type Oscar, nominators would think was a good movie. His other notable films included Battlefield Earth and Ghost Dog. Now, I've seen Ghost Dog. I've seen Ghost Dog, which was actually a good movie. Now, the casting for it is very strange, where Forrest Whitaker, he never really struck me as an American ninja. He never did. But it was pretty damn good. I got to be honest with you. The soundtrack was crazy. I think RZA did the soundtrack for the movie or whatever from Wu-Tang. It was interesting. Once again, it's hard to get over Forrest Whitaker being a ninja. But that's in essence what the plot was all about. Tristan Wilds turns 26 years old today. You know who that is. He played Michael on the drama The Wire, which, he had a very prevalent role in The Wire. I mean, what 10 years after the fact? You remember he actually killed Snoop at the end of The Wire. I think he killed Snoop's partner too, which I can't remember his name right now. But Michael had a very prominent role in the last couple of seasons of The Wire, so he turns 26 years old today. He's also a singer. He's got a hot song out there, or that was out about a year ago. So happy birthday to him. I'll see if I can actually find that song. Eddie Griffin, comedian, is 47 years old today. And who we got here? And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. And also, Eddie Griffin, comedian, Undercover Brother, get it out, which was a blaxploitation satire type film. Good comedian. He turns 47. And also Sherry Headley, famous for her role as Mimi Reed on All My Children. And also, she was Lisa McDowell in the 1988 Eddie Murphy movie, Coming to America. You remember her. So happy birthday to all of them. The number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. Fatboy McCoon in the chat room says, it's my birthday, snitches. Happy birthday, Fatboy McCoon. Yes, sir. I think his birthday actually was yesterday. I think I may have saw it yesterday, or maybe someone else's birthday was yesterday, and I forgot to mention it, and I said that I would today. So happy belated birthday to that person, if it wasn't Fatboy McCoon. Stagger Lee from the chat room says, let us pray. Please, God, let Jerry pay Dez before 4 p.m. Yeah, that's an ongoing story, too. Dez Bryant, wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, says that if he doesn't get a new deal today by 4 p.m., that he's, in effect, going to miss all of training camp, and he's going to miss many, many games. I think he's just bluffing. I think he's bluffing. Now, we know how this thing works. This is his second contract. This will probably be his biggest contract. He doesn't want to get the franchise tag money where he gets the average of the top 5 wide receivers in the game. He wants long-term security, and the Cowboys are kind of messing him around, and they haven't been able to come to an agreement. And Dez says, if I don't get a new deal, this is the only leverage that I'll have, this much leverage I'll have at this point in my career, or in my career really, because he's playing the best football of his life. He says, I'm going to sit out. And I told you yesterday, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, I told you yesterday, football players in the NFL get paid throughout the season, not during training camp, not in the offseason, not anything else. They get 16 checks. That's it. All right? If they make the playoffs, then they get a little bit of money per each round or whatever. But no, they get 16 checks. And if Dez Bryant starts missing them checks, and I think he makes like $700,000 a week, that's going to start to hurt. I mean, so we'll see how much will and fight he got in him when he started missing them checks. From Eugene Jackson, Dallas, got Darren Williams and Zaza Pachulia. You're going to need more than that. He just went and talked some basketball. Darren Williams, this isn't Darren Williams from 5 years ago. Zaza Pachulia played here in Atlanta for many, many years. Has been playing with the Milwaukee Bucks last year. That ain't nothing. Dallas might win 20 games this year. J-Rob, Doug, I believe Bo Jackson hit a leadoff homer in the 1989 All-Star game. I think that was the last person to do it before Mike Trout did it last night. From Fel Pay, don't care too much for your signal. But last night, me and my wife were jamming to that Jodeci Forever My Lady album. If you sing a hit, sing a Jodeci classic, sir. Wow, Jodeci. I like that. Yeah. A Jodeci classic. Oh, yeah. I can do that for you, sir. Yes, stay tuned. Yeah, keep listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I might do that today. Yeah. Hey, man, thank you so much for the chat. When we get back from the break, all I'm going to do is read chat. And at some point here, we're going to talk about Marcus Mariota for the Tennessee Titans. Once again, a little bit later in today's show, we're going to talk to Raymond Poole. He was the lead producer for Beats by the Pound. I met this guy a couple of weeks ago, man, and struck up a conversation, and we started talking about the glory days of No Limit Records, and he was that dude. He also, let me tell you how you would know this guy. He had his own album drop on No Limit Records. Once again, his name on the label was Moby Dick. But he was also the guy singing the vocals in Mr. Ice Cream Man. Yes, sir. Can you imagine what this guy has been through and what he's seen with No Limit Records? So we're going to talk to him a little bit later, and we'll see how that turns out, all right? Don't go away. When we get back, more of your chat,
more sports talk, guy talk. This is The Doug Stewart Show. You've been thinking about starting that online store, right? And you do know e-commerce makes billions a year. That's right. I said billions with a B, okay? A B. Well, just do it and do it right with my friends at AmeriCommerce. AmeriCommerce is an easy-to-use tool to sell anything online, on Facebook, and through mobile phones. Over 100,000 merchants and website owners have chosen AmeriCommerce to handle their stores and customers. They have the most in-depth features in the industry, which include multiple storefronts, website management from one console, a Facebook shopping application, a mobilized, optimized website, and much more. Don't let eBay, Amazon, and Zappos get all the money. Get your piece of the pie, too. Click on their banner link on thedougsstewartshow.com or the app link for more details. First of all, thank you for listening to The Doug Stewart Show. Now, if you've been listening for a while, you know that we've grown exponentially over the first couple of months. Whether that's listens, whether that's followers, we're blowing up, and you can be a part of it. If you have a company out there and you like to promote on The Doug Stewart Show, we'd love to partner with you. Here's what you do. Email me at doug@thedougsstewartshow.com. Once again, that's doug@thedougsstewartshow.com. Whether that's locally, regionally, or nationally, we can get the word out. What you're talking about is middle-aged dudes that love sports and love exciting sports talk. Once again, email me at doug@thedougsstewartshow.com. That's doug@thedougsstewartshow.com, and we will put you out there. All right? That's doug@thedougsstewartshow.com. Let's do some business. Yes! Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com, America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU. Welcome to the Doug Stewart Show. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. It is a Wild Out Wednesday. Shouts out to everybody in the chat room. Shouts out to all of the Stewies. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This segment is brought to you by National Debt Relief. That's right. They're one of the country's largest and most reputable debt settlement companies, National Debt Relief, specializing in debt settlement, and they've also negotiated settlements for thousands of creditor and collection accounts. Core Services offer debt settlement as an alternative. I repeat, an alternative to bankruptcy, credit counseling, and debt consolidation. Give them a call, man. 844-828-4975. Once again, that's 844-828-4975. Before you decide to file bankruptcy or go to that extreme, give National Debt Relief a shot and see if they can help you out, all right? And tell them Doug Stewart sent you. So, have y'all heard this story? And we're going to get right back into the chat here in a second on the Doug Stewart Show. The number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougsstewartshow.com. But once again, the easy way is to chat, and I'll read more of that here in a second. Have y'all heard the story about Marcus Mariota and what's going on with the Tennessee Titans? Interim CEO and President Steve Underwood says that the team won't back off its determination to have offset language in the contract of Marcus Mariota. He's the only unsigned first-round draft pick of the 2015 draft. What offset language does, it allows the team to recapture guaranteed money if the player is released and signs with another team. Now, let's step back for a second and let's analyze this. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. So I had always thought, and this is actually something that I really didn't know,
I'd always thought that the guaranteed money was guaranteed no matter what. That's why they call it guaranteed money. It's non-negotiable. But evidently, they're trying to put something in this dude's contract that says, they're going to, I guess, in effect, spread his guaranteed money, his bonus money, over a couple of years. And if he gets cut in one of the last years or whatever, they prorate it and they take that money back. He doesn't get that money. And so if he signs with another team, he can't double dip. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, where he gets paid from another team and he still gets paid from the Tennessee Titans. Now, maybe it's just me and maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way, but that's not a good sign in their faith in Marcus Mariota. Maybe I'm, totally making more of this than what it really is. And they actually said in the story that, they've done this traditionally and they're one of the teams that likes to do this. So evidently they've done this in the past and they've had players that signed said contracts and agents that allowed it to happen. But if you draft a guy number 2 to play quarterback for your franchise, I don't think that's a good look and it's a good sign, and it doesn't show utter confidence in the guy that he's going to be there for the next 10 years. If they're trying to put a clause in his contract that, listen, if we cut you, we want some of that money back. I mean, that's just not a way to welcome a guy into your organization, I think. We're not talking about, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, we're not talking about a second or a third or a fourth round pick. We're talking the number 2 pick in the draft, okay? And I think you have to show confidence in the number 2 pick, a quarterback that you drafted number 2 in the draft, in his ability. And I don't know, maybe they've seen something already in the little mini camps and the OTAs that they're starting to be hesitant about. Maybe that's not the case, and I don't know, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Maybe it's not, but that's kind of a red flag if I'm a fan of the Tennessee Titans. Like, wait a minute. You trying to worry about something down the road? That's almost like a prenup. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. That's like a prenup for a player. Like, you know how a prenup works. You do a prenup because you got a lot to lose, in this case, money for the Tennessee Titans, and you've already got, a lot of the way people look at it is, you've already got kind of a little doubt in the back of your mind. It may not be the case. You may, be one of these staunch business people, and you just want to put provisions in your marriage certificate in case something goes awry. Yeah, it's like the Tennessee Titans have put a prenup in this guy's contract. I don't know about that. What are your thoughts on that? If you're a Titans fan, or if you're just a fan of football, what are your thoughts on that? If I'm making too much of this, you think it's just something that the Tennessee Titans do traditionally and happen to be Marcus Mariota? Or do you feel like me, that you've never heard of this before, and I might be a little bit worried if I were a Tennessee Titans fan? Let me read more of your chat here from Fail Pay. Fail Pay says, don't care too much for your singing. Oh, I already read that one. As a matter of fact, we should delete that one. Togo, Uganda. He says, I played that Stevie Wonder song for my wife last night. Oh, okay, so, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. The other day, I'm going to stop right there before I finish the rest of the chat, the post. A couple of days ago, I sung Stevie Wonder's Ribbon in the Sky, and everybody loved it. I mean, it was actually one of my better selections, so everybody loved it. And so Togo, Uganda is saying that he actually let his wife hear it, I guess maybe on the podcast, on a replay of the Doug Stewart Show. He actually let her hear it. So let me see what he has to say. He says, I played that Stevie Wonder song for my wife last night, and he has hashtag no bedroom action. What does that mean? You need to look into Viagra then, sir. JB Jennings says Tennessee is overhyped. He will come down to Georgia and Florida. I hope the hell so. I hope it comes down to Georgia. But Tennessee is getting a lot of love. Picked to win the SEC East this year by writers. And, man, I mean, that's great. I mean, I always say, man, when you get the traditional powers, and I don't know if you technically classify Tennessee as a national power. When you talk about national powers, you're talking about USC, Ohio State, Miami, used to be Alabama, programs like that. When you talk about national powers, I guess you technically don't talk about Tennessee, but Tennessee has had a ton of great years, have always been relevant. Been one of the top teams consistently for many, many years, pretty much the entire time Philip Fulmer was there. We'll see. We'll see, man. From Pay, you talking about Georgia, Doug. Hell, South Carolina done. If the Bulldogs are Clemson, then the Gamecocks are Kentucky Wildcats. Both have no titles, but are full of optimism. Yeah, you're exactly right. But I don't think Carolina Gamecock fans talk about necessarily winning a national title. I think that it all derives from them having that success in the early 80s, talking about Georgia and Clemson. I mean, Carolina has never really come close to winning a national championship. Probably the best chance Carolina had to win a national championship was like 4 or 5 years ago when they played in the SEC championship here in Atlanta against Auburn. It was against Auburn. Cam Newton, that was the year that Auburn won the national championship. That's probably the closest thing they came, and I don't even think that they had the ability to make the national championship game that year if they did win that SEC championship here in Atlanta. I think they had a couple of wins, but they had just won the East, and so they were playing in the game. But nah. Ever since Clemson won that national championship, man, in 1981, every single year. And Clemson's had a ton of great players. I guess if you look at the history of South Carolina and Clemson football, Clemson's had the better teams, historically. Clemson used to have it going on for many, many years back in the day, especially during the era of Danny Ford when they did win the national championship. But so they've historically had better players in year in and year out. But Carolina never thought they were going to win a national championship, man. From Clay Davis's Sheed advisor, I like college football, but it's nothing but free labor for these kids, for these schools that don't give a damn about the players after their eligibility runs out. Well, I 100% agree with that. But that's another conversation. That's another discussion, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. From Vince Wright, college football is unrivaled in Big Ten land, too. The South doesn't own college football despite what y'all think. Ha, 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 go LSU. So Vince is from Minnesota, and imagine having to root for Minnesota Gopher football your entire life. I love you, Vince. I'm just kidding, bro. I'm just kidding. Not much, but I am kidding. Yeah, Ohio State got great football tradition. I'm trying to think outside of Ohio State, the great tradition that can rival football down here in the South. I mean, there's nobody. There's nobody. From J.B. Jennings, besides last year, Georgia actually owned Florida while Muschamp was there, but it's a new era. Florida usually excels when they have an offensive-minded coach, so we'll see. Tennessee is a pretender. Florida has beaten them 10 straight times. Oh, Tennessee has definitely been down, J.B. Jennings. There's no other way to look at that. From Pay, I watched the first episode of Season 2 of The Strain last night. That damn show was intense. Can't have a weak stomach with that show, though. I don't know anything about The Strain. I think I've heard it in passing online or maybe on Facebook or something like that. What's the deal with The Strain? Do I need to watch it? I don't like horror movies and gory type things where guts and stuff falling out of people. I don't really like that, even though I am a huge fan of The Walking Dead. But I usually don't like horror type, scary type movies or whatever. From String, I hope Dez holds out all season. It's better drama. I'm a dirty bird anyway. Exactly. Chuck Down Frank, Dougie Last King was a very good movie. I've watched it a couple of times, and dude, I am not a movie person. Okay, so I got to go check it out. Stagger Lee, Beast by the Pound, sounds like a Michael Sam joke. Okay, I always got to read Stagger Lee's stuff a little bit. I got to preview his stuff. All right, man, when we get back from the break, man, it'll be hour number 2. The show just flies by. Incredible how fast this damn show flies by. We're trying to put together hour number 3 for the show. So stay tuned. I mean, when it happens, I'll tell you about it. Some things got to happen first, though. All right, when we get back from the break, hour number 2 of the Doug Stewart Show. Don't go away. Keep it locked. In life, things happen, good and bad. And being prepared is always important. If you're like me, a husband, a father, and protector of that family tree, then your family is the most important thing in the world. 95 million U.S. adults don't have protection in place. So,
What I've done is put my protection in the hands of the largest and number one independent financial services company in North America, and that's Primerica. They look out for middle America because they believe that offering the most competitive premiums only benefits the client and have been doing so since 1977. If you're a parent, husband, or wife and want to discuss options with one of Primerica's top reps, then call my guy, Greg Wynn, at 678-439-7172. Again, that's 678-439-7172, and he'll put your family first. And hey, tell him that Doug Stewart sent you. Yes! This is your boy Doug Stewart, one half of the Two Live Stews. Check out my brand new daily show and podcast that airs live Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Spreaker.com. That's the Doug Stewart Show daily at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Time, live on Spreaker.com. Or check out the podcast anytime, 24/7. If you're not stewing, what in the world are you doing?
National Debt Relief is one of the country's largest and most reputable debt settlement companies, made up of energetic individuals who are passionate about helping thousands of Americans with debt relief. Most importantly, we're all about helping our customers through a tough financial time in their lives with education and individual customer service. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families rid their lives of burdensome debt. Specializing in debt settlement, and they've also negotiated settlements for thousands of creditor and collection accounts. Providing clients with both expertise and proven results, this means helping customers in time of hardship to get out of debt with the least possible cost. It can also mean conducting financial consultations, educating the customer, and recommending the appropriate solution. Core services offer debt settlement as an alternative. I repeat, alternative to bankruptcy, credit counseling, and debt consolidation. National Debt Relief is your #1 advocate group to help you reestablish financial stability as quickly as possible. So give us a call at 844-828-4975. Again, that's 844-828-4975, and work it out.
Hour number 2, baby. Yes, sir. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. And it is a Wild Out Wednesday. Yes, sir. Thank you for the chat, man. I'll read more of your chat here in a second. We got to talk about John Wall, point guard for the Washington Wizards. He threw some major shade. Stay tuned. In about 15 minutes, we're going to talk to Raymond Poole, a.k.a. Moby Dick. That's his street name. He was the lead producer for Beats by the Pound, which actually did all the big hits for No Limit Records in the mid to late 90s. And also, man, he actually introduced or released his own album under the No Limit Records label. And he also sung the hook on that Mr. Ice Cream Man soundtrack, a track from back in the day with Master P. Mr. Ice Cream Man. I might do that for y'all today. Mr. Ice Cream Man.
Is that man's song?
What do you mean?
You just gonna sing his song?
Yeah, that's his song. I just sung a part. When we get him on, I might sing it for him. That's okay. I mean, he's a friend of mine now, so he shouldn't have a problem. And for new listeners to the show, this is the voice you hear is Tree, the producer to the Doug Stewart Show. She had to go see a man about a horse, so she's just getting here. That's no problem, though.
I'm not. I've been here. What are you talking about?
Well, right, but you weren't able to chime in like you normally do, is what I meant.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Say that. Now let's talk about you singing his song. Does he know about your singing?
Oh, I'm sure he's heard about my singing. I mean, why hasn't he heard about it? I mean, he's a producer. He's in the industry. I'm sure he's my name's been thrown around in meetings at some point or another.
Oh, okay.
What are you talking about?
Nothing. You're right. You are absolutely right. Everybody, whatever song Doug sings today, I'll be happy to post a snippet of it, and you all can use it tonight.
Okay, wait a minute. Like Togo Uganda. Uganda, I mean, he had all guns a-blazing when he came in there with my rendition of Ribbon in the Sky, and then he couldn't get it to work. He got to go get some of that Viagra's. I mean, that's not my problem.
So
Togo Uganda, he talked about, the great opportunity he had playing my song for his wife, and
things just didn't work out, man. I love you, Togo Uganda, but, I mean, that's a you problem. Is your career stagnant? All right, listen to this. I need you to grab a pencil and a pen. Is your career stagnant? Are you in the process of starting a business and in need of a business plan? 180 Degrees Career Solutions offers high-impact marketing material in the form of resumes, executive biographies, and business plans at affordable rates. Please visit them online at www.180degreecareersolutions.com. All right, once again, if you need a business plan, a biography, a resume, anything like that, this is what they do. 180 careersolutions.com. That's 180, the number 180 degrees careersolutions.com. All right, make sure and tell them that the Doug Stewart Show sent you. Yes, sir. So that's what you get right there on Fiverr. And now, what I need the Stewies and the listeners to do is to make sure and take the information down. You may not need it right now, once again, but if you need high-impact marketing material, resumes, executive biographies, business plans at affordable rates, that's the huge thing. Check them out online at 180degreecareersolutions.com. And make sure and tell them Doug Stewart sent you. Yes, sir. So we've been talking about college football a little bit. SEC days are here. Training camps, two-a-days get started at the end of July, beginning of August. Football is right around the corner. Yes, sir! And I cannot wait. So we've been having that little discussion today as well. I asked you your thoughts on this Marcus Mariota story. Not really a story, but Tennessee wants these provisions in his contract. He's the only first-rounder not to sign yet. We're about to start training camps in less than 15, 20 days, and he's the only first-rounder not to sign yet. And also a little side chat on baseball and who would you start your baseball team with if you had the opportunity. The All-Star game was last night. The American League won again, and the American League has just dominated the All-Star game over the last 15 or so years. So would you take, I don't know, Mike Trout, who was the MVP last night? Would you take Giancarlo Stanton? Would you take Andrew McCutchen? Miguel Cabrera, maybe? He's a little bit older right now. Paul Goldschmidt out of Arizona. So a little baseball talk as well. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let me read more of your chat. Shouts out to new listeners to the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We really do appreciate it, man. Follow the show on Spreaker.com and then jump in the chat room and be totally interactive, and I read chat all day long on the show. It's kind of like a conversation starter. From Miss Mocha Bella. What up, Miss Mocha Bella? She says, Doug, what happened to my request song from Gerald Levert? We're still working on that. I mean, listen, I don't want to do Gerald Levert wrong, okay? So what I do is, once again, I'm in the studio all times of the night with my singing teacher. And so Gerald Levert, man, I mean, he was deep. He had that voice, and so I want to make sure I do it right. So we're still working on the Mocha. I'm sure I'll get it out for you at some point. And that's what I'm talking about. What I do is I get the people what they want. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you, Tree. Tree's giving me 2 thumbs up. Thank you, Tree. Thank you for coming back to reality. I get the people what they want, so I take requests. And so I've got requests for Jodeci. I've got requests for Gerald Levert. And trust me, I'll get to it. I mean, that's what we do around here is we sing. From KC, Jameis Winston's deal with the Bucs has the same clause that Mariota is balking about. Oh, damn. Okay, so it might be, and I said it when I was talking about it a little bit earlier, that maybe this is more prevalent than I realized. I had never heard of it before. I had thought, maybe just because I'm from the country and I'm country, I had thought that a guaranteed contract and or a guaranteed bonus money was guaranteed. I thought that was unapproachable, but evidently it's not. From Run CNC, they're still trying to get back guarantee money, probably from Steve McNair, rest in peace. You remember when Mike Vick had all of the stuff with the dogfight and he went to jail? It was a huge battle, a huge fight between Mike Vick and his agents and the Atlanta Falcons, Arthur Blank was trying to get that money, and I think Vic ultimately was able to keep all of his bonus money, and that's why this thing is kind of clouded in my mind concerning Marcus Mariota, and now I'm finding out from KC, Jameis Winston had the same type of verbiage in his contract as well, because that's what Mike Vick thought, was this is bonus money. This is guaranteed money. I shouldn't have to give it back to you even though I did something stupid and I was out fighting dogs. This is a deal. And I'm not giving you nothing back. And I think ultimately after the Falcons and Arthur Blank lost, they appealed the decision and they went back to court. And I think Vic ultimately was able to keep all of his money. From Vince Wright, Mariota better get signed. From J.B. Jennings, that Mystical used to rock, still got that album. From Dobby. So they're trying to guarantee money, but not guarantee money exactly. That's why I ain't ever mad at a guy getting his loot. And I totally agree with that. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, talking about Marcus Mariota. From J.B. Jennings, Titans have already been burnt by Locker. You remember Jake Locker, who was supposed to be the next big thing? Yeah, right. Because they drafted him high as well, so they're just trying to cover their ass in case Mariota don't work out. And maybe that has something to do with this as well. They still got to pay, Jake Locker probably. They still probably got to pay him checks for the next couple of years. You've always heard these stories about how athletes, I just saw a story, remember they talked about it a couple weeks ago, like Bobby Bonilla, that used to play for the Pittsburgh Pirates back in the day, and I think he played for the Mets too. But Bobby Bonilla is going to get like $1 million a year for the next 20 years. And Bobby Bonilla hadn't played baseball in, I know, 15 years. And so he got some kind of crazy contract from the Mets that pays him like $1 million check once a year for like 30 years, something ridiculously crazy. They thought they were getting a deal at the time, but such is not the case. So maybe that does have something to do with it. From P-Cola 3, Mystical's first album actually went harder than any other he dropped. From Texas Ty, can I lie and say it's my birthday too so Doug can sing twice? Wow. I mean, you got a guy. Wow. Let me step back for a second and take this in, man. Thank you. Thank you, Texas Ty. So let I get this straight. Texas Ty was going to go to the extreme of lying, saying that today was his birthday so that I might bless him and the other listeners with song. I don't know. I mean, that's the greatest compliment I've ever received for my singing. Now, I've received a lot of great compliments about my singing, but that might be the greatest one ever. He was willing to lie, to put his character in question just so he could hear song. From Doug Stewart, man. Thank you, Texas Tide. That means a lot, brother. Hold on a second, man. Let me get myself back together. Hold on a second. Hold on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to do this. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show because clearly my calling might be singing. And I did say singing. Yes, sir. All right. Man, thank you. When we get back from the break, man, we are going to talk to Raymond Poole. That's right. Lead producer at one time for No Limit Records. I don't think he's still got the same relationship with the label. We're going to talk to him about all of that stuff, man. A little side type thing that we do in the summertime on the Doug Stewart Show. Talk to interesting people, man. People with a story. All right? So don't go away. Coming up next, interview with Raymond Poole. No Limit Records. Beats by the pound. Don't go away. The Doug Stewart Show. First of all, thank you for listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Now, if you've been listening for a while, you know that we've grown exponentially over the first couple of months. Whether that's listens, whether that's followers, we're blowing up, and you can be a part of it. If you have a company out there and you like to promote on the Doug Stewart Show, we'd love to partner with you. Here's what you do. Email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Once again, that's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Whether that's locally,
regionally, or nationally, we can get the word out. What you're talking about is middle-aged dudes that love sports and love exciting sports talk. Once again, email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com, and we will put you out there, all right? That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let's do some business. Yes!
National Debt Relief is one of the country's largest and most reputable debt settlement companies, made up of energetic individuals who are passionate about helping thousands of Americans with debt relief. Most importantly, we're all about helping our customers through a tough financial time in their lives with education and individual customer service. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families rid their lives of burdensome debt. Specializing in debt settlement, and they've also negotiated settlements for thousands of creditor and collection accounts. Providing clients with both expertise and proven results, this means helping customers in time of hardship to get out of debt with the least possible cost. It can also mean conducting financial consultations, educating the customer, and recommending the appropriate solution. Core Services offer debt settlement as an alternative. I repeat, alternative to bankruptcy, credit counseling, and debt consolidation. National Debt Relief is your #1 advocate group to help you reestablish financial stability as quickly as possible. So give us a call at 844-828-4975. Again, that's 844-828-4975, and work it out.
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets, with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Wild Out Wednesday. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ice cream.
Yeah, welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. This is a Wild Out Wednesday. And thank you for tuning in to the realest, the trillest, the most entertaining, the most unfiltered sports talk show in America. And, man, right now, joining me on the line is Mr. Raymond Poole, a.k.a. Moby Dick, one-time producer for No Limit Records. Raymond, what's up, man?
Oh, man, God is great, man. That's what's up. God is great. I'm still living and breathing. I made 50 years old on the 4th of July, so God is great. I'm half a century years old. I'm going to celebrate the whole birthday, the whole month of my birthday.
The whole month of your birthday. You're about to turn 50 years old, and we're talking to Raymond Poole right now, a.k.a. Moby Dick. He was the lead producer on No Limit Records in the mid to late 90s. The name of the production team was Beats by the Pound, man. So you got a birthday coming up, man. 50 years old and blessed and still doing your thing, huh?
No, I am 50. I made 50 years old on the 4th of July.
You made 50 years old on the 4th of July, man. Happy birthday. I always do birthdays on this show. So happy belated birthday from your boy, man, in the Doug Stewart Show. All right, so, man, I met you a couple of weeks ago, and I wanted to talk with you a little bit, obviously, about your time with No Limit Records. And No Limit Records was a dynasty in the mid and late 90s, and you were actually the head producer for Beats by the Pound, who did all of the music and some classic hits for No Limit Records, man. First of all, what's your relationship to Master P? How did y'all hook up?
Well, Master P is my cousin, my blood cousin, no-play cousin. That is my real cousin.
Okay.
And that's on my father's side. God bless my dad. His name is Raymond Poole. And his brother, which is Master P's grandfather, his name is Claudius Miller, is how we're kin. And we used to make, I'm from Morgan City, Louisiana. Morgan, like Captain Morgan, Morgan City, Louisiana, which is approximately an hour and a half from west of New Orleans off of Highway 90.
Right.
And we used to always make that trip back and forth to New Orleans on special occasions or just to go see the family members, and they would do likewise coming to Morgan City. You know, it's just a family thing. You know, when you go see your family out of town for the weekend, for games and all that. So we kept that relationship with our family. And, we kept in contact through the years, and, that's how we already know each other.
So how long had you been doing music before? And we're going to get to obviously the No Limit stuff here in a second. But how long have you always been in music? Were you like one of those guys musically inclined? Were you in the band growing up? Did you just always have a love for music and being able to perform music?
Yes, sir. I was. Let the story be told from my mother that I was a musician in the womb. You know what I'm saying? It's a family thing because her father, Emil Washington, God bless him, the day he died back in '97 when we were at the height of No Limit. But he was the chief musician of our family. He was a minister of music in our family church, which was Mount Pilgrim Baptist Church in Morgan City, Louisiana. And basically, I'm chip off the old block, you know what I'm saying, from my grandfather. So I'm born a musician. So that transpired through Sunday school and church and all that, and eventually in school, from 5th grade all the way through college, I was involved in band. And actually, I'm a member of Kappa Kappa Psi, National Honorary Band Fraternity. So that's just how deep the music thing goes with me.
Talking to Raymond Poole right now, a.k.a. Moby Dick, lead producer for Beats by the Pound, No Limit Records, mid-'90s, late '90s, on the Doug Stewart Show and the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. All right, so let's go there now. The start of No Limit Records, when No Limit, and I don't know how many years they had been around before they really hit it big, I guess, before Bout It. But what was that conversation like between you and your cousin, Master P, Percy Miller, where he said, listen, I want you to come on board and start doing some beats for me. We about to blow up. I need you to come work with me, cousin. How did that conversation go?
Well, the conversation went, first of all, FYI, Master P started the label way back in 91, 90, somewhere in the early 90s. And it was already up and running. So he was a big hit in the Bay Area. He was bubbling real big. He had sold like 250,000 copies out his trunk. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He had one of the biggest independent record labels back in the day.
Right.
And we crossed paths when I was on a road trip with my fraternity brothers on the way from Wichita, Kansas, down to New Orleans, headed to the Bayou Classic. We made a stop in Dallas, and he so happened to be at a club to where, one of my fraternity brothers, two of my fraternity brothers were bouncers, and we had free access to the club. We went in the club no more than 10 minutes to where an altercation took place and somebody was injured by a gunshot. It wasn't fatal, thank God for that, but it was a little female who got injured. And as the chaos cleared, we making our way out the club, one of my frat brothers tapped me on the shoulder with like somebody trying to get your attention from the DJ booth. So when I turned back around and seen who was in the DJ booth trying to get my attention, it was my cousin, Master P, who I hadn't seen in like 6 years. Mm-hmm. And so we were like, what you doing in here? He was like, what you doing in here? And went up there to the DJ booth and hollered at him. It was like a little family union, right?
Right.
And, within no circumstances that had happened. And he asked me, man, you still doing music? And still, what I'm saying, yada, yada, yada. I said, hell yeah, that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I was working for St. Mark. I was the youth music minister for St. Mark AME Church in Wichita, Kansas, which was the biggest AME church in the state of Kansas.
Uh-huh.
Who was the pastor was Tyrone Gordon, And he had hired me on as the youth minister of music. And at that time, you know, I said, okay, well, I'm making music at church, but this is my dream. I want to pursue this.
Right.
And especially with my cousin, I entrusted him. I'm like, okay, if anybody I'm going to do it with, I'm going to do it with my cousin. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm like, you know, he said, well, cuz, I'll get you down there. All you got to do is let me know when you're ready. I said, I'm ready, you know, when I get back to Kansas, you know what I'm saying? And sure enough, when I got back to Kansas, you know, he had sent the ticket to me and flew out to Kansas, and the rest is No Limit history, and it didn't look back.
Wow. Talking to Raymond Poole right now, lead producer for Beast by the Pounds, produced most of the hits between 1995 and, 1998 for No Limit Records. Talk about that era, man, and when you got there and when you kind of got entrenched in No Limit Records, and listen, we're big music people here on the Doug Stewart Show, and so we follow music. No Limit Records had a run, man, where they were just at the top. Everything that Master P touched turned to gold. You talk about all the great artists on that label, all the albums, TRU, I'm About It soundtrack back in 97, Down South Hustlers, the Master P Ice Cream Man track that I played when we brought you on. At what point did you realize, man, we made it? Like, this is big. Like, we balling out of control. At what point did it really hit you that we are really running this music game?
Oh man, when we look at Billboard, we used to look at Billboard and see the charts. That was enough right there. You know what I'm saying? That was one aspect. Okay, we look at the Billboard, and then next thing you know, we start seeing the gold and platinum plaques come through.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, life got pretty much better. You know, the way we live. You know what I'm saying? And then doing what we love to do, making money doing what we love to do. You know what I'm saying? And that type of money and that type of success was a new thing to all of us. You know what I'm saying? Because we were making money and being successful, doing what we love to do. And also when we would do tours and we go to certain cities, and we would go do the record signings, all the autographs and all that, the radio interviews, people calling in, to the station and asking for this person and that person. Then when we finally get to the show, everybody spitting lyrics that me and my constituents wrote word for word. You know what I'm saying? I said, okay, this is real.
Right.
We're actually the actual rap label of the world. You know what I'm saying? And it was real. Hey, bro. It was, I ain't gonna lie, bro, it didn't even seem real. You know what I'm saying? It was like a big old, like, where am I? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Talking to Raymond Poole right now with the Doug Stewart Show. All right, so there was a time where, and I don't know, and you can tell me which one came first or which one had success first. Cash Money Records was big on the scene, still big on the scene, really. But then you had No Limit Records and you had Cash Money Records, and there was always kind of like this thing out there that there was a beef between the two labels because you're both from New Orleans, and I guess the stage wasn't big enough for both of you. How true was that? And just talk about the relationship between No Limit and Cash Money Records and back then and even to today.
Well, Cash Money, truth be told, Cash Money was a hometown, homegrown and home-developed label. It started like where No Limit started in Richmond, California, but P so happened to be from California. But the No Limit Records was birthed in Richmond, California. And P came back home and, planted a flag back at home. But I would say during the early 90s or even some of the late 80s, that Cash Money was already making noise with the UNLVs of the world, Magnolia Slim, what everybody knows as Soldier Slim.
Mm-hmm.
And, and other artists that they had on, you know what I'm saying? Then Manny Fresh, they went on and hired him as their in-house producer and music maker, and they were already making noise at home. But what happened was P had already had, some ties at home, and he had did a commercial for Wild Wayne for Q93. And that song was the instrumental to what we know as Bout It, Bout It. It was originally Servon's song called Bucking Like a Winchester, but he used that instrumental that KLC did, shout out to KLC. And they did use that instrumental, and it was a commercial for Wild Wayne, intro. And people started requesting the intro.
Right,
you know what I'm
right.
saying? And then and P was doing this thing saying body, 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 you know what I'm saying? Because that was the language of New Orleans. If you were body, I mean, you body, you out here, you down to do whatever. You're not scared. You ain't no punk, and so on and so forth. That what that was all about. So he made that intro for one of Wild Wayne's songs, Wild Wayne's shows, and then it became a hit on its own. So we went back and revamped it. Okay, and from that point on, he had gained the favor of the home,
right,
of the home team. So before that, now the kicker part is that P had a big distribution deal before Cash Money.
Mm-hmm.
They were independent while we were, building this big empire over there with Priority as our distributor.
Right.
Okay. So we had the distribution deal first, and that was the big difference between No Limit and Cash Money. But so far as the relationship that we had with Cash Money, me personally, I didn't know any of the artists. I didn't know any of those people personally.
Mm-hmm.
But KLC had already had a relationship with mainly because they used to DJ in the same club, which was Rumors, in the 9th Ward right there off of St. Claude Street in the 9th Ward. And they had already had a relationship established. They used to do beats for, mutual artists like Mac, Mia X, and, and a Juvenile, you know what I'm saying? Because KL, and he used to mess with Juvenile back in the day because Slim and Juvenile both from the Magnolia Project. So, everybody knew one another uptown. New Orleans is not a real big city for anybody who's been there already. It's not a real big metropolis.
Right.
But, it's one of those small cities where if you from uptown, you know pretty much everybody uptown. You from downtown, if you out there in the streets, you know what I'm saying, you know everybody downtown. So, for the most part, everybody got along. But so far as the artists, it was just, they had, the two CEOs had their differences for whatever. It's still a mystery to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what that difference was, but that's a mystery to me. And to me, I feel that there was a damn shame, if I could say it on the show, you know what I'm saying? It's a damn shame that the two powerful labels of uptown New Orleans, not just New Orleans, both of the labels had, the CEOs, they were from the 3rd Ward, New Orleans. You understand? So I just figured that it was a damn shame, but we never got together and did music as two empires.
That's what's up. We're talking right now to Raymond Poole, known as Moby Dick from No Limit Records, was the lead producer on Beats by the Pound. We're gonna go to a break here for a second, but I want to bring you back on and talk to you a little bit more about Master P and his business acumen. Where No Limit Records is right now, what you got going on right now in the music industry in general. Okay, so hold tight for a second, and we're gonna take a break, and we'll be back with Raymond Poole here in a second on the Doug Stewart Show. In life, things happen, good and bad, and being prepared is always important. If you're like me, a husband, a father, and protector of that family tree, then your family is the most important thing in the world. 95 million U.S. adults don't have protection in place. So, what I've done is put my protection in the hands of the largest and #1 independent financial services company in North America, and that's Primerica. They look out for middle America because they believe that offering the most competitive premiums only benefits the client and have been doing so since 1977. If you're a parent, husband, or wife and want to discuss options with one of Primerica's top reps, then call my guy, Greg Wynn, at 678-439-7172. Again, that's 678-439-7172, and he'll put your family first. And hey, tell him that Doug Stewart sent you. Yes!
Are you looking to enhance your sales or celebrate your next special occasion with precision and elegance? If your answer is yes to either of the two, then your next stop should be booking Go DJ Atlanta. They specialize in boosting customer engagement while creating music to create the right vibe. So, don't wait until the last minute. Book Go DJ Atlanta for your next special occasion. Once again, visit them online at www.godjatlanta.com. That's www.godjatl.com. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Wild Out Wednesday. And we are talking to Raymond Poole, a.k.a. Moby Dick, one of the lead producers for Beats by the Pounds. Did all the beats for No Limit Records between 1995 and 1999. And you know the story of No Limit Records, man. Just a dynasty. Raymond, thank you for holding on, man. I wanted to kind of dig a little bit deeper in Master P. All the time on this show, man, I talk about these record moguls, man. You know, you got Puffy and you got Master P and guys that have basically taken nothing and made it into something, man. And Master P has always seemed like to me, and once again, No Limit Records are still thriving right now, not like it was back in the day, but they're still doing their thing. They got a ton of new artists. But Master P has always seemed like the consummate hustler, man, the consummate businessman. Talk about you and your relationship with him and seeing him, you know, make this empire and make that empire, No Limit Records, what it was back in the late 90s.
Well, first of all, man, it's a given, man. It's my cousin. I love him. I love him for life, whatever. You know, our relationship is now, you know what I'm saying, you know, that's in God's hands, you know what I'm saying? And the thing is, I love my cousin. I commend him, and I tip my hat off for him for making the contribution that he made, along with myself. He didn't do it by himself, but his face and the fact that he put his neck out there for the South hip hop and put his face on top and say, okay, I'm going to wave the banner for the South, because at that time the South was getting absolutely no respect. You understand? In hip hop, they were actually saying the music that we did wasn't hip hop. You understand? When we had the Scarfaces of the world out there, we had the UGKs of the world, the 8-Ball MJGs, and the Outcasts of the world. And you mean to tell me that's not hip hop?
Right.
You understand what I'm talking about? They did it. They conveyed a message, and they did it very skillfully. But what P and did along with us, we really got in your face. It was like, okay, since y'all don't want respect, we got to take our respect, because respect, you know, especially, you know, New York was not trying to give that respect. You know, they were all kind of sore at the West Coast doing that thing anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like with Dre and, you know, the whole NWA and the Death Row movement, the Ruthless movement, and other people like Too Short, E40, and then the Bay Area was on the bubble at that time too, because that's where P got his, you know, he learned the game from the Bay Area independent game. So he took his hustling skills and basically transferred it to the music sector. He always had a love for music, you know what I'm saying? He always did that. He couldn't help it. He's from New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? Every other kid plays an instrument down there, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we can't help it but to be in love with music. We are music. Music is part of our DNA, it's part of our absolute physical anatomy. You understand what I'm saying? It's like some people I would like to say, damn near born with trumpets tied to their mouth. You know what I'm saying? Attached to their mouth. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But anyway, what happened was it was a real should I say intense time in hip hop, like around 1994. In 1995, 1996, you know, a lot of bloodshed was going on. Tupac got killed, Biggie got killed. And when the East Coast and West Coast were at war with one another because of those two people, that left a way big gap. And I figured that was the way, God bless the souls of those guys, and my condolences to their family. But I think their deaths had a lot to do with us coming up the middle. Mm-hmm. You understand? When they left the gap wide open. Tupac dead over there, Biggie dead over here. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Okay, so what does that leave? But what does that leave the voice for the streets? There was no more voice for the streets. So, what you call it was I think Rap-A-Lot. They were at some kind of little, some type of stagnation, whatever was going on with them. But the game always, one thing about hip-hop, it's always looking for the new, fresh face to come along and represent hip-hop. And we were that face for not only the South, but for the Midwest. Because on songs like Bout It, people shouting out Kentucky, what else? Ohio. He was shouting out all those towns in the Midwest.
Right.
Because those people were buying Bay Area music, which transferred to Southern music because of P. Because P used the best of both worlds. Okay, he used the Bay Area following, which was the whole Midwest was following C-Bo, Master P, E40, Too Short. The Midwest was selling records and selling out shows with those guys. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So P was one of those guys who was on the bubble, after Too Short and Tupac and the whole Bay Area movement. And then when he came back home, you know what I'm saying, that brought a whole nother following with us. Like I said, like when he did the Bout It thing, that just signed them in. It was like, okay, when No Limit got on, that gave New Orleans and the rest of the South, outside of Houston, because Houston was already doing this thing. I don't even think Houston, you can't even count Houston as South rap because they just consider that hip-hop because of Scarface.
Right.
You understand what I'm talking about? So they were putting him in the same category as the Nas's and all that type of stuff. He was just hip-hop. He had no geography. You understand? But we had geography.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So when we started shouting out our languages, the projects we were living in, and so on and so forth, that really, made people really look in and take a closer look. And lo and behold, the Bout It movie came out.
There it
That's
is.
the rap. When people were able to see what our lyrics were all about, then they saw it and said, okay, that's pretty similar to our situation, but it's just speaking a whole other language. And it's like saying Allah and God, and it's the same word, but in two different languages.
Right.
So that's what happened with that whole movement, man. And just to sit back and be part of that, man, was amazing, man. And it's still amazing to me, bro.
Finishing up with Raymond Poole right now, a.k.a. Moby Dick, No Limit Records, Beats by the Pound producer, was there for the heyday of No Limit Records. We're going to let you go now, bro. But before I let you go, tell everybody that listens to the show where they can find you at, what you're doing musically, and once again, how people can contact with you and see what you're doing online and across the board.
Okay, you can get me my social media. You can hit me on Twitter and Instagram, and it's all Pay Mob Dick, PAYMOBDICK. You can hit me on all my social media that way. And you can also look me up on my YouTube. My YouTube channel is MO_B.Dickavision, was DICKA Vision, all one word. So that's how you can get me on my newest material. And also I'm on all digital download, man. Please, go check me out. I'm out there. I'm still jamming. I still got the formula, and I got some more stuff, some more goodies on there that people didn't know that I do. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
A lot of people didn't know I rap. A lot of people didn't know that certain genres of music. I do it all. I'm a musician. So you can find me on iTunes. My latest album that I put out is called Signature, which features a lot of the recent music that I've been doing and my hits that I did at No Limit and prior to No Limit. You know what I'm saying? I got some songs because I had a group that I helped found called Critical Condition, now known as CC Waterbound, in which Pimp C co-produced the last album that we did, me and God Bless Pimp C. And I got to tell this. Dog. Before you let me go, I got to say this for the record. I am one of the main reasons why UGK career continued, because I brought them on board for the Down South Hustlers album. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm one of the, you might well say I'm the main reason why they did. P had to get them about that, but for the Down South Hustler project, you know, I recommended to my cousin that they get on that album because it wouldn't be a Down South Hustlers album, you know, to me without UGK on it, and I already had a relationship with them. So, okay, so moving forward, man, I had to put that in there right quick. Yeah, so go get me on all digital downloads. Signature is my last album. I have another album that's prior to that called Le Sesalier, and it's spelled LILESESALIYE. Okay, that's the name of the album. That's my last full project that I did independently. And also Gangsta Harmony, the one everybody knows that I did at No Limit. That's available on iTunes, Google Play, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
That's what's up. Hey, I appreciate the time. We'll talk to you down the road. Good luck to you, man.
I appreciate you, Mr. Doug Stewart, and good luck to you on your show. God bless you, and everybody who's listening, God bless you.
There he is, Raymond Poole right there, Beats by the Pound, No Limit Records. When we get back, we'll wrap up today's show. This is The Doug Stewart Show. In life, things happen, good and bad, and being prepared is always important. If you're like me, a husband, a father, and protector of that family tree, then your family is the most important thing in the world. 95 million U.S. adults don't have protection in place. So, what I've done is put my protection in the hands of the largest and number one independent financial services company in North America, and that's Primerica. They look out for middle America because they believe that offering the most competitive premiums only benefits the client and have been doing so since 1977. If you're a parent, husband, or wife and want to discuss options with one of Primerica's top reps, then call my guy, Greg Wynn, at 678-439-7172. Again, that's 678-439-7172, and he'll put your family first. And hey, tell him that Doug Stewart sent you. Yes! I don't like Johnny Gill. He took my spot on New Edition. One of my favorite songs of all time from New Edition is Can You Stand the Rain? So to pay ode to that famous song, man, I'm going to give you my little rendition of Can You Stand the Rain? On a perfect day, I know that I can count on you. Ooh. When that's not possible, tell me, can you weather the storm? Then Ralph jumps in. 'Cause I need somebody who will stand. Shut up! Who will stand by me through the good times and bad times. She will always be right there. Hey, sunny days. Everybody has them. Tell me, baby, can you stand the rain? J-Rob, Tree, if you stop Doug singing, we will renege your BPA nomination. Huh? Buster, Doug, I see why you got kicked out of New Edition. Wait a minute. Back up, Jack. Shut up. Studio audience, y'all are out of control today. I mean, seriously, we're going to talk about this. We're going to have to take y'all into Larry's office after this show. That ninja, you just cracked my damn phone screen. What? Where's all of this coming from? Who's putting y'all up to say these things? Who's putting y'all... Okay, Tree, jump on for a second. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Did you prompt these people to say these nasty things to me on Spreaker.com?
You know what?
I mean, it's jealousy. Tree, we know that you sing. But you don't have to be the only person that can sing. Okay? I can see it. What do the kids call it? Hating? Is that what's going on here, Tree? Are you hating on Doug Stewart? Dirty Della.
Oh, my God.
Dirty Della. Oh. Dirty Della. Oh.
First of all, thank you for listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Now, if you've been listening for a while, you know that we've grown exponentially over the first couple of months. Whether that's listens, whether that's followers, we're blowing up, and you can be a part of it. If you have a company out there and you like to promote on the Doug Stewart Show, we'd love to partner with you. Here's what you do. Email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Once again, that's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Whether that's locally, regionally, or nationally, we can get the word out. What you're talking about is middle-aged dudes that love sports and love exciting sports talk. Once again, email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com, and we will put you out there, all right? That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let's do some business. Yes! All right, welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. I thought that went well. Now, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show once again. We just had on Raymond Poole, a.k.a. Moby Dick. That's the street name. No Limit Records. Producer for a lot of the hits. You can just look him up. He's on Wikipedia. You can look him up between 1995 and 1999. All of the big-time beats that came out of No Limit Records, which were, their beats were fantastic. You can't front. He was the main guy. He organized that actual group of producers. And now, he is from New Orleans. I'm reading some of the chat here. He is from New Orleans, so they kind of got a way that they talk. They got a little drawl about them. So I see some people voicing concerns about that. But I actually thought it was good. It was informative. He kind of gave a little bit of history of No Limit Records, him in the industry, talked about UGK, putting him down with the Down South Hustlers. That was some good stuff. And talked about Master P really bringing it home to the South. I thought that was good, man. Thank you to Raymond Poole. I'm reading some of this chat here, man. Hey, do you need a special cake? Here's one of them times where you need to grab a pencil. And this is big right here. Grab a pencil. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, Wild Out Wednesday. Grab a pencil and get ready to write down this number. Do you need a special cake for an upcoming event? You always need cakes, right? Cupcakes real big now. And, sweet things, pastries, that's real huge right now. CEO Custom Cakes specializes in creating over-the-top and creative cakes for weddings, birthdays, anniversaries, and any other occasion. CEO has created cakes for celebrities. Listen to this. These cats at CEO Cakes have created cakes for celebrities and sports figures like Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, Chris Webber, Queen Latifah, The Real Housewives, and many, many more. Let CEO turn your favorite item, memory, or paraphernalia into an edible cake. To place your order, all right, here's where you write down the phone number. To place your order for one of their sweet treats, call 404-795-1403. That's 404-795-1403, okay? You can also order cookies, other treats on their online store at CEOcustomcakes.com. Write that down, too. CEOcustomcakes.com. That's CEOcustomcakes.com. And make sure and tell them that the Doug Stewart Show sent you. Yes, sir. That's a big client list. Big-time people. Yeah. All right, thank you for tuning in to the Doug Stewart Show, man. I'm going to go ahead and read some of this chat here. Who we got? Chico the Alpha. He says, man, whenever there's a frown, let Dougie provide you some sound. Yes, sir. Thank you. He's talking about my singing. And I didn't have the opportunity to sing for Raymond Poole. But I'll do that later. I have his contact information. Yes, Tree? You have your hand raised?
What was this chat about your singing?
Man, Chico the Alpha, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. He said, man, whenever there's a frown, let Dougie provide you some sound. And he has these little emojis of hands clapping.
like my studio audience. So he's a fan of my singing as well.
Oh, we need to talk.
Okay, go ahead. Talk. Say it.
I have to tell you something. I just want to share something with you. We've talked before about you releasing, some hits.
Right. I mean, I release hits all the time around here, but I'm talking about to the masses.
That people would purchase.
Right.
And I want to help you with that. You asked me to help you with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to do that.
Right.
Because it's you.
I appreciate that, Tree.
And do everything I can to make you shine. That's what I do.
Right.
I did need to let you know, I'm having some financial situations here.
Uh-huh. Right.
And
we all are. We all are.
And I know that when you and Larry are able to, you'll start giving me more money.
Right.
But in the meantime, I got to lean back on what I know.
Okay.
And so I decided to release a single.
What? Are you joking here? Are you serious?
No, I have a lot of music, and because my music is classic, it doesn't matter.
Right.
When I wrote it, it's good.
Right. Just like mine. But you're right. Yours is great too.
So I decided to go ahead and release a single today. Actually, it's available for purchase everywhere online, iTunes and things like that. So
congratulations!
I was just wanting to let you know. Oh, okay.
Congratulations! So you're going to try to join me in singing stardom. Well, actually, let me back up for a second. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, and this is the real deal. You're not joking. You're serious about this, right?
I am serious.
You actually have been doing this a long time, and I have only been doing this for, 2 or 3 weeks. And I've grown tremendously in a short amount of time, but you are actually an established singer, and you're going to release your music today on iTunes. You have released your music today on iTunes, and that's great. That's great. Come join me at the top, Tree.
Okay, I will. I just wanted to get your permission to share that information.
Oh, my gosh, of course. And so how can people, what do they need to look up? What's the name of the song? How can they find it?
The song's called Something I'm Not. Actually, you got to listen to it because it might help you with your decision-making about your career. But it's called Something I'm Not, and it's a house beat, and it's going to make you dance.
What?
And yeah,
I can't.
And you can get it. I'll post the links in the Facebook group and on my Facebook page, and I have a website. But yeah, I just wanted to get your permission first because I know you're real sensitive.
My gosh. Listen now. There's enough room on board for 2 great singers, and once again, you're established a little bit more than me, just a teeny bit more than me. And I've heard you sing before. You always tear the roof down at Impact Church. And so congratulations. We got to make money any kind of way we can.
Thank you. I see your friends on in the chat. We got a little, okay, that's fine. Y'all can talk mess, but.
Go listen to it. Oh, trust me, Tree can blow. Maybe not like me, but she can blow. Yeah. And now let me ask you this, and we're about to wrap up today's show, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I got a ton of more chat.
You need to read it.
That I didn't get a chance to get through. But let's understand something here. You were going to do this no matter what. This isn't a competition thing. This isn't like Big Brother, Little Sister type thing where you're trying to battle me in singing or anything like that, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, not at all. I got my own flavor. It isn't nowhere near like yours. Trust.
Okay, great. All right, thank you.
Individuals.
Thank you, Tree. Thank you. Let me read a couple more of these chat posts before we get out of here. I hope the Saints do bad this season. I got nothing but Saints fans in my family. Falcons all day. From J.B. Jennings, Silk the Shocker was the worst. What? Silk the Shocker. I had to skip whatever track that fool was on. Horrible. Chef Ivan the Great. I got the hookup, and about it looked like they were shot on on an iPhone. I watched on, though. Yeah, I got the hookup was not a theatrical achievement. It wasn't. From K3000, that just goes to show you that all the money they pay these guys like John Gruden and Mr. College Football and others is wasted money because they talk for months bringing folks stock up and tearing them down, but all for what? So they can give a crappy deal to guys like Mariota. See, this is why I can't stand the NFL. From Chef Ivan the Great, Y'all know Pimp C went hard on Master P on the solo album, Sweet James Jones. He was talking about C-Murder being the only real one. KC, Doug, if you think that the calling might be singing, your calling might be singing, please answer. Please answer. Oh, these guys telling me to answer the phone, man. Thank you, Casey. From Eugene Jackson. So Chris Brown's house was robbed this morning. Sounds like an inside job. Chris Brown, your friends ain't your friends. That's sad. I hate to hear things like that. I haven't heard that story yet. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. You're right. That sounds like an inside job. Hey, man, thank you so much for joining me today on the Doug Stewart Show. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shouts out to Raymond Poole, a.k.a. Moby Dick, for coming on and talking about No Limit Records. I think it's fascinating, man. I see some of you don't agree, but that's okay. That's okay, man. Thank you, Raymond, for coming on the show today. Shouts out to the Tree of Life. Check out her single online on iTunes. She'll post links all over the place so you can get down with that. I'm going to buy my copy of it right now as soon as we're done with the show. Thank you, Tree, for all that you did today on the Doug Stewart Show. Shouts out to Waterhead Walter, Dwayne Vasson, Gerald Oliveri. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. And a special shout out to all the listeners. I call them the Stewies. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you. All right, tell one person about the show, the Doug Stewart Show. That's all that I ask. And if you'd like to advertise on the Doug Stewart Show, man, you can do it for as little as $5. Still unbelievable to me. So check me out on Fiverr. That's Fiverr, Fiverr.com. Just search the Doug Stewart Show and it'll pop up and it'll give you all the details. So, I mean, starting out at $5, you can advertise on the Doug Stewart Show. All right? We'll do it again tomorrow. Same Doug Stewart time, same Doug Stewart channel. Throwback Thursday, baby. Peace.